So I had also a question about the seated positions. So, is there any advantage to the lotus? You know how different asanas provide certain benefits sometimes, but like I was wondering if there's any particular advantage of the like lotus position versus is that Padma asana? Is that the way you're
Yeah,
sitting right now?
Padmayasana.
Yeah.
No, this is called Siddha Asana.
Oh,
This is
see
half
that.
lotus.
Okay.
And Padmayasana is full lotus position.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, is there any benefits or advantages, and especially like as far as meditation? It just seems like natural for me, like to be in that position when I want to meditate. Like I would find it a little hard to just do it seated or laying down, but like if I'm in that position, it kind of like just triggers something in me to want to, meditate. Because it's just like a very natural position in a sense, but that's how I like to sit, But I did notice like when I'm in lotus position, if I force my leg up there, it feels very stable, like because it's those feet are like pushing down on my knees, and it's like I'm like rock solid to the ground.
You're
But
right, Kyle. You're definitely right about that.
Oh, you're in lotus position.
nice. So your take any advantages, or especially for meditation and everything like that.
Yeah, I would say the full lotus position, Padmayasana, it kind of locks your spine in straight. So your spine is kind of locked in. Like you said, when your legs are up on your thighs, it kind of you can't really hunch over. It kind of locks your spine straight. So no matter what you do, whether you go to the right or the left or the front or the back, you're always kind of locked in straight. So it kind of naturally straightens your spine where you can't slouch or you can't really lean over. So that's what I would say is probably the main benefit of it. That's why these yogis like to sit in full lotus position, because they don't have to think about, I need to straighten my spine more, because it naturally just locks you in. When you're in that position, your spine is locked in straight. So I would definitely say that it really helps your alignment and your centeredness. Really, there is no like blockages, like the from the root to the crown. The Susimna Nadi is really super straight, where you can't really go any other kind of way. And like I said before, if you start making it a habit of sitting in full lotus position, then you'll always have that alignment where you don't have to think about it. It just naturally happens. So it's a good benefit when you sit that way, because your spine just naturally straightens and you don't really have to worry about it, because you're kind of locked in. When you sit in full lotus position that you'll already be locked in, and that's less things your monkey mind can focus on or attach on.
And the sitting on your meditation pillow helps you lock in better, or I don't know. Just the
Yeah,
meditation pillow?
it more, instead of leaning back, you more lean to the front, right? So you're more, it brings your knees down on the floor more, and it brings you. Let me see. So I have this meditation cushion. Do you wake up feeling anxious or already behind? That was my life until I made Kriya Yoga my morning anchor. Just 15 minutes a day gave me clarity, calmness, and real control over my emotions. You deserve to start your day with peace. Book a free call at kriyayogamasterclass.com or join my free school at freekriyayoga.com.
I even for the car.
Yeah, go ahead.
I even have a cushion for the car, like an Everlast cushion when I'm driving, because I used to do Uber. And so I was very aware that having a straight spine while sitting is very important. And I used to get backaches because I was driving a lot. So I used to slouch, naturally, not because I was, it just naturally happens. So I said, I still got to make money, but I don't want to put my health at risk. So I always use a pillow, regardless if I'm in full lotus position or not. Although I also alternate. I don't put the same leg up. If I put the right leg up first and then the left, then next time I'll do reverse.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it too. Like you loosen up. So if you do the lotus position on both sides, and if some people find it easier to do it on the right side, and some people find it easier to do it on the left. But if you make a practice of doing it both sides, then you could do it. You kind of balance out yourself. So I like to, like Tibor said, make it a practice of doing it on both sides, so it's easy to do it both kind of ways. Because if you do it too much on one side, then you start to favor that side, and the other side, it starts to become harder. So you kind of want to keep that balance.
When you mention about locking in position, you do lock in naturally. I mean, it's effortless.
Yeah.
Once they're on top, like Kyle said, it naturally pushes down on the knees towards the ground. If you're on a pillow or on a cushion or on memory foam, even better, because you get the vibration, like the law of Isaac Newton, every action has a reaction. So when we're pushing down, whatever we're sitting on is pushing up. So because we're locked in and we can't move, whatever that means, we're locked in. Our natural movement would be our breathing and our blood flow. And because of that, even if we're locked in position, we're still moving by breathing. We're still moving by our natural heartbeat and blood flow. So alternating enhances the movement of our inner blood flow, energy, chakras, breathing. Everything is the same thing. Sushumna nadi, root chakra, top chakra. It's always on a loop. It's like the circle of life, constantly operating, even if we're not practicing our asanas, even if we're on our day-to-day routine, it's always operating, regardless of we're conscious of it or not. The way I used to practice this before starting Kriya Yoga, and then noticing that I was practicing Kriya Yoga even before hearing about it, was what I'm about to explain. You do this by breathing and thinking consciously all the time. There's no other thing. Asanas are just like extra practice, but the main 24-hour practice is thinking consciously, breathing consciously, acting consciously with awareness and loving awareness, or union with the divine. But that's a 24/7 practice by our thoughts and our breathing, which also affect our blood flow, because there have been studies about water and rice, and you talk good to one, you talk bad to the other, and you just ignore the other one. And the one you talk good to, it starts emitting like a perfume-like smell, but the other two start to like rot and deteriorate like normal. And so the same analogy or experiment, if you will, applies to our blood and our thoughts. Whatever we carry in our aura day to day is how our blood or our water is contaminated with our own thoughts or our own energy, our own aura. That's our energy that we carry 24/7, our thoughts. And that affects our breathing, and that affects our blood flow. That is all.
Yeah.
No, thank you for that, T-Boy. That was profound. Yeah, I would definitely agree. Like when you integrate these practices of Kriya Yoga in your daily life, your life becomes Kriya Yoga. So like T-Boy said, when you breathe consciously, when you think consciously, and you live consciously, then your whole life becomes like a walking kind of temple. I posted a Babaji quote yesterday. It was like, keep your mind clean and your temple fit. It was something like that. So like your body becomes like a walking temple, and you always want to keep it clean, and you always want to do everything consciously, and you want to be aware of the distractions out there but not attached to them. So if you could make your whole life like a living meditation, then it becomes, everything you do becomes mindful, and you just guide through life with this mindfulness, which is a very beautiful and profound thing. So you're less affected by anything, you're less attached to anything, and you just kind of float through life like, oh, that was interesting, look what happened today, but I'm not really attached to it. I'm not going to get upset about it. It just, these things kind of happen in a daily basis. So keep moving on.
Yeah.
That reminds me of that we're being the light we're supposed to be around darkness. And it also reminds me of the story about the little soul and the sun, which I've already known, but it was read to me a few days ago again.
Nice.
Practice Being's back. He says, God is our only security. Faith is knowing that we'll always get what we need when we need it. We're living and breathing right now, being the best we can in this moment, which is all there is.
Well put, Practice Being. Yeah, I would agree with you. If you put your ultimate goal, your main focus on God, and seeing God in everything you do and everywhere, like God is in everything and everywhere, then, like I said in the last ad song, you can't hurt anything because you see it as a projection or a mirror of yourself. You see yourself in a tree. So why would you cut down the tree? Because you'd be hurting yourself by hurting that tree. Yeah. So you see God in everywhere and everything. And by this way, you could become more conscious, and you don't have no thoughts of violence or want to hurt anything because you see yourself in that everything. And you see everything as a divine spark of God, right? Like a representation of God, like a spark of God. So I would definitely agree with you. If you align yourself with the divine oneness and your inner divinity, then that's all you need, And there's no reason to get depressed or feel bad, because you start to become like a radio antenna for God, right? And God starts to give his energy, his Shakti through you. And you start to become more of the detached witness and not attached to any outcome. And you just kind of watch the play of the play of Maya on the stage of the world, if you know what I'm saying. And you just get your popcorn and you just sit back and watch it. Like, I'm not attached to this movie. I don't think I'm an actor in this movie. I just watch the movie from a distance, from my seat in the audience, So, yeah, and you start to, like Practice Being says, you start to focus more on what serves you in the present moment, and stuff that other people do, you begin to see as it doesn't really serve you. That's good for them, but how does that serve me in the present moment? So you begin to cultivate and enhance what really uplifts you and serves you in the present moment.
Yeah, I was thinking about what Tibor said about slouching when we're driving, because I've been paying attention to that for myself personally. And like I catch myself, like I want to keep my head against the headrest, and that's how I know if I'm not, and also my mirror position, if I'm at the right tall position, my mirror, but if I'm starting to slouch, I have to want to adjust my mirror. But yeah, so I'm trying to, maintain that, and I'm just realizing how difficult it is just to maintain your focus on some simple things like maintaining a straight posture and the breathing. Like I constantly just let my automatic breathing take over, shallow, automatic breathing. And like, instead of just like a nice steady and deep breaths to calm me. And thinking about my posture and stuff, I'm just like realizing how the system, how like schools sitting in these like chairs for long periods of times.
Yeah.
And like I would always slouch because one, I was also tall and I didn't want to be seen, you know, so I'm kind of like slouching down.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
We
how
all learn that regardless of our stature.
yeah. But yeah, it's just interesting what and when I'm focusing on my breath, my monkey mind can't wander around as it likes to, you know?
Yeah.
And that's
Go
actually
ahead.
effort, because that's what we deal with, every single one of us human beings, with our minds and our thoughts. And that's the effort right there. Controlling, or domesticating the monkey mind like a pet.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Taming the
Domesticate.
wild monkey, right?
Because if we
Yeah.
could do that with regular monkeys, heck, they would ask for tips if you tell them and teach them to. So why not our monkey mind too?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you, Paul. Like before I got on the path to Kriya yoga, I used to DJ, right? And all I would do was hunch over and touch the turntables or the CD player. So when I got into Kriya yoga, that was hard for me because my back was permanently curved from all those years of DJing. But it's possible. You just kind of got to make a conscious effort to, like I said, imagine a string on top of your head, pull that string up, bring your shoulders back, chest expanded. You just kind of, that's why I like the lotus position, because it helps me from not getting back into those bad habits or slunching over, right? Because it's hard to hunch over when you're in the lotus position. So it kind of keeps you more locked in and more focused. And like my meditation cushion, it brings your more knees down instead of more knees up, So I'll take it out. Like you see, like without I would sit like more like that, like, I mean, it's still, but it brings it brings the focus more down on your knees. So you could sit. That's why I like it. And it looks good for the kids at home.
Yeah. Makes you look cool.
It makes me look cool. It's a cool presentation, right?
Well, I know I hunch like when I'm driving in heavy traffic, because I'm just like, incoming traffic's coming this way and I'm watching all the crazy cars. So I feel like I'm more in control if I'm hunching. But
yeah, your head is on a swivel.
Yeah.
Because it's a war zone out there, especially traffic, right? Which way they're coming, where they at, Yeah,
it's like a defense mechanism. But if I'm on a country road, I can sit straight and just be like smooth
driving. Nothing to worry about.
What Kyle said about adjusting the mirror, but we do that regularly when we're sitting up straight. But then he said he adjusted it because he's slouching. And don't adjust when you're slouching, because that way you need to go back to the straight position to look back.
Right.
Yeah.
I was kind of mean that alerts me when I think I need to adjust the mirror. That alerts me to that I'm doing the habits slouching.
But even if we think we're not doing it right because we're still slouching and we still need to consciously move, that we can consider that oscillations. So that's progress. Oscillations are vibrations anyway, and that's the whole point of the universe. Vibrations, energy, and frequency, which is the velocity of the vibrations or the repetitions that we do something. That means straighten our spine. Every time we do it, it's an oscillation, it's a vibration, it's a repetition. So it's progress anyway.
If life feels like too much, like you're barely holding it together, you are not alone. I was there too. until I found Kriya Yoga and made it my daily reset and my spiritual anchor. If you're seeking that kind of lifeline, start with the free school at freekriyayogamasterclass.com or book a free call at kriyayogamasterclass.com. If this video resonates with you, drop a comment, click like, and don't forget to subscribe for more Kriya Yoga daily videos. And click this video right here.